that offer staying on the table at Ajax, they take it. It might still be there for them if they change their minds. And for Gakpo, I think this one is a more straightforward one in case the Antony really doesn't work out.
With Antony, Ale, if 80 million has been rejected, obviously it is a lot of money, but should Manchester United push and go higher?
Well, and this is the corner in which Manchester United right now have put themselves in, where you are in a position that you're going to have to overpay. You're going to have to pay above market value if you're going to get players to come to Manchester United. And so if you look at Antony, the player, yes, talented, a lot of potential, but is this yet another situation in which Manchester United go after a player, go chase down a player because they're desperate? They pay above market value, and what you get is an inconsistent young player. Talented, don't get me wrong, absolutely talented, and a guy who could potentially blow up into something bigger. But paying 80 million, 100 million for potential is the part that I think Manchester United should be very careful with. But because you're chasing, because you're desperate, you're no longer thinking about how much money you're spending. You are thinking about, how do we win games? How are we dangerous in the final third? How do we create opportunities? And if this kid is able to create opportunities for us, then yeah, go get him and pay whatever you need to pay. That's desperation, and when you're desperate, usually you don't make the best decisions.
It's hard not to link that word, desperate, with these figures, isn't it?
Well, the football people, the financial people at United, the whole thing's been a mess. They've only got to look at their own dealings last summer. I don't know off the top of my head the exact figure for Jadon Sancho, but it's looking like it was 3 times too much. Now, I know he was expensive, and I know they weren't going to get him out for 30 million. I understand that. But there seems to be, and it was when we were looking at it, was the Euros last summer? It was the Euros last summer. And there was a bit of a head scratcher at times why Gareth Southgate, we talked about a couple of players. Well, a bit strange Grealish isn't playing. A bit strange Jadon Sancho's not getting more game time. But then you look at the inconsistencies in the young man's performance, and I know he was a bit better at Dortmund, but Dortmund's Dortmund, that's Germany. He's not in Germany now, he's in England. Right, Premier League's a bit quicker, a bit faster, no matter what anybody says. And he's not been, and the pressure's cranked up, you're at Man United. So I think they have to be looking at it and going, paid 100 million for a winger, he's a winger. Well, another winger. Do we go to 100 million again from the Dutch league that's not as strong as the Premier League? And I think they're all looking at each other thinking, I think they're all looking in this room, whoever's in it, 4, 5, 6 people, and none of them believe what they're making the right decision here, financially or football-wise, because they're looking at the signings that have come in, some of them, and the ones that maybe be coming in, and the money that it's cost, and go, goodness, it seems like a lot of money again, and it's another risk. Because what they've done before generally hasn't worked. And they've paid fortunes. And now they're going to have to, as Ali says, desperate. Clubs know they're desperate, and they're having to go and pay fortunes again for some players that are still a risk. Casemiro's not a risk. He's a very expensive 30-year-old, but he's not a risk on the field. These other guys are a risk in England at 100 million potentially. That's not good business.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.